Okay, I'll say a quick prayer and then we'll get going. Lord, we just thank you so much for today, and thank you for that we have extra people on tonight, and we just hope to be a blessing for Lord. I do want to lift up Debbie as her back is not doing well, and so she's not going to be on this evening. We just pray that that gets healed quickly because I know she has her open house coming up. We do want to continue to pray for Addie, and we know that they are preparing to go to New York for surgery. And Lord, we just ask for your hand and your will on the whole situation. Just guide the surgeons and the doctors as they decide the best plan of action. Be with them during the surgery. Be with Ashley and her husband and Paul and Laura as they're just there to be there for Addie. And Lord, we just pray for quick healing and that this is going to fix her issues and that she doesn't have to continue to have a lot of treatments for this. And Lord, just be with us tonight. Just help us to help each other and just help me to be able to speak clearly. And just thank you for the opportunity to do this. It's in your name we pray. Amen. Okay, and there's Miss Stephanie. She's getting on. Okay, we'll do a little bit of Reco. Hey, Stephanie. Stephanie is also in St. Louis, and Sharon is here in Amarillo. Stephanie, she's going to be maybe hanging out with us on our meetings. Her director is in Maryland, but we can welcome other unit members to our meetings. So anyway, I'm glad Stephanie and Alexandra are back. We missed y'all last week. So glad everybody's back. And Jody was sick last week, so she looks like she feels better. She looks really good, but she's trying to get better. So anyway, okay, I had a couple of accomplishment sheets turned in. And so Jody and Dawn, I got accomplishment sheets from them, and also I got some information from Jody. So I know that Jody had a share. She shared the opportunity with someone. Did you get an answer yet?
She's pretty certain that she's going to join. She's going to be a personal use, though.
Okay.
And that's fine. And
Okay.
I really think that hopefully she'll join us on meetings and stuff, and I think she'll probably do a little bit more than just personal use.
Okay. Well, that's exciting.
Yeah, she's a retired teacher.
Okay. Awesome. Well,
and has the most beautiful singing voice. So
oh,
yeah.
well, that's always a plus too. We can have her
Yeah.
sing. So Jody also had a $401 week, and Dawn had a $222 week, and I had a $418 week. So, and I know Jody, you had a vendor show as well, and so that was good.
Yes.
Turned out good. Jody did that at her church, and so that was exciting. So anyway, does anyone want to share anything that's been great this week, Mary Kay or otherwise? You just want to share with us? Besides, Dawn's got beautiful weather in Mexico, and we have wind and cold here. What's it like in St. Louis? What's the weather like in St. Louis today?
It is cold here.
Here too, and windy.
Yeah.
If I had to actually wear a coat this morning when I got out. So, anything anyone wants to share?
I'll share a little bit. So the vendor event that we had, or it wasn't actually, they had vendors, but it was actually a women's conference called Scene, and we had the speaker was the women's director worldwide for MANA. So if you're not familiar with what MANA is actually a nonprofit organization that sets up feeding centers throughout the world in impoverished areas. And of course, they spread God's, the word of God and feeding. Their main thing is feeding children. So they set up these feeding centers, and they set them up even in areas that are not necessarily very nice areas, like hostile areas. So, but the wow, subject of the subject of the conference was seen, and what it basically is what a lot of times you feel unseen by God, and you feel or in such other situations maybe unseen by others around you. But it was just, the message was just really, really strong, and it opened my eyes as to really well, it convicted me. So because there's so many times that I don't stay focused, and I am guilty of not necessarily seeing people that are in front of me. So it made me, it was a good thing. It made me realize that I need to be more focused and really focus on people.
Well, that's good. I know you sent me that one picture from it that
Yeah.
with that really good saying. That was
It was
good.
really good.
Yeah.
It was-
Yay. Well, it's always good to be in a positive environment and then get to do a vendor show too. So that's good. Anybody else want to share anything?
Well, I will.
Okay, go ahead, Alexandra.
With the fundraiser for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Foundation, actually it's called Blood Cancer, I raised a little over $1,000. Corporate companies match that, so it's $2,000 that go to Blood Cancer
Yeah.
United. So it's pretty cool. And on top of that, tomorrow I go to pick up T-shirts for a T-shirt, and it's at a Lufuse car company. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to meet people and talk with them, and not intentionally say, "Oh, okay, by the way, about Mary Kay." I'm going, when I introduce myself, speak with them about, the business, just, jump right in. But anyway, the big thing is that I wanted to, let you guys know about raising the money. But I'm definitely going to, let people know about the Mary Kay. So, yeah.
Yay. That'll be fun. It's good sometimes when you're out in public in a new place. Wear your Mary Kay pin. And
Definitely.
and then somebody will ask you about it, which is kind of nice. So thank you guys for sharing, and that's exciting, Alexandra. I'm glad you were able to raise that. So that's awesome. All right, well, I asked Jody to do some product knowledge tonight, and so I will. Do you want me to go ahead and share that page that you sent me, or wait? You're muted. You're muted.
How's
Yay.
that?
Okay. Do you want me to share it now?
Yeah,
Or
that'd
wait?
be great.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to
So-
share a page she's going to talk about.
Okay. So I'm not going to talk about a specific product. What I'm going to talk about, though, is the Mary Kay Day Code. And Sharon, this is actually a great training for you to join in on it, being a brand new consultant. Because even as seasoned consultants forget what the day codes are and where they are and what the purpose of them are. So Mary, sorry, see, I'm still not good. So Mary Kay actually puts a day code on every single product that is manufactured. What that day code does is it gives you the date of when that product was manufactured. And you can base the quality or whether that product is good, or if you probably need to move it off your shelf, or maybe even throw it away, because any type of expired products, of course, you don't want to sell or donate anywhere. So the first thing is the formatting of that is there's 2 letters and then the number. And the number is actually the date of the date that it is created. And then the 2 letters are, the first letter is the year and the second letter is the month. So in this example, it's DD25. Well, D is for 2023, the first D. And then the second D is for April. So this product was created on April 25th of 2023. So the norm of the product expiration is 3 years shelf life. So that product would actually be good through April of 2026. So if you have that on your shelf and it's March of 2026, you're either going to want to sell it or give it away or pull it off and use it for your own personal use. The normal shelf life is 3 years for just standard products. There are some products that do have an actual expiration date on them, and that will either be on the box and or the product. And then anything that has sunscreen, they're saying 2 years. I have product that I use for myself that's older than 2 years, but that's for myself. But I am not going to resell anything like that. So this is just really good to know. So this code will either be on the bottom of the bottle, or if it's a tube where the and I was going to try here. This is going to be so small. I normally have to get a magnifying glass anyway, but on tubes, it's going to be right up here inside this little sealed area. And then you can see on the picture that the eyeliners, it's actually on the pencil towards the end of the pencil. And then our samples also have day codes on them. And I actually didn't realize that until I was reading this. I was like, oh, okay, that's good information. Even after being in for 11 years, I didn't know that it had day codes on it. And that's actually on the seal as well of all of your samples. Again, sometimes it's really hard to see them, but this is something you should know. Now you can get this sheet from InTouch, and it was, God bless InTouch, and trying to find forms. So with the new, and Sharon, you are not going to be alone, because InTouch just recently changed, about a year ago. So it's all new to us as well, that we're still learning where things are. So as you get on, you're going to actually have an advantage, because you're not going to be used to the old InTouch. You're going to have the new InTouch.
That's actually one of my questions I was going to have, because I didn't see like a year or any expiration date. So I was like, how do we know when to expire? But now that I see it, it makes sense.
Yeah. So normally you can pretty much figure it's going to be 3 years. Most everything is going to be 3 years, unless it has sunscreen, or like our retinol products are going to expire sooner, because that is such a wow, I just gone blank. Anyway, I guess sensitive. It has sensitive ingredients. Anyway, I'm going to say sensitive, but yeah, so that's that. That's the product knowledge I had. Does anybody have any questions?
This is Dawn. I can't tell if you
I
guys
can see you.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can see
Okay.
it.
Just, I wanted to make a comment. So when the expiration date appears like at the end of tubes and it's in that ribbed area and it's really hard to read, somebody gave me a tip, and it served me well, to take a picture of that with your camera, your phone. Then in the picture, you can really see
You
it
can
much
blow it
better.
up. Yeah.
Blow it up, and you'll be able to see what is otherwise really hard to see
Yeah.
in that part of
Yeah.
the
I've
package.
actually even taken paper and shaded it with pencil on top of that, and yeah, yeah, it's hard to read. Anytime you do a product return, though, you'll have to have that code.
Mhm.
And you guys can see Jody's product is on her shelves behind her. You know, the biggest thing to remember is that when you get new products in, put them behind, which is hard to do sometimes. I'm like, I need my husband to build me shelves that I can open up from the back so I can stick them, because, it's like trying to put it behind is sometimes like, oh, got to pull everything off and put it behind. But that's really the best way to make sure you're keeping things in the right order, so that you're using up your product at the right.
Yeah, and that's called a first in, first out inventory.
So anyway, thank you, Jody. Does anyone else have any other questions on that? it is a good reminder too, because we're getting closer. Can y'all believe it's already gonna be November and it's gonna be close to the end of the year? So in January, we count all of our inventory on our shelf. And so that is when we start looking at, okay, do I have anything that's, needs to be moved? And honestly, when we talked about wrapping and stuff last week, it's a good idea to kind of look at the stuff as you're wrapping up gifts for Christmas. If you're doing Christmas open houses or selling, creating a little temptation basket with things in it, put things in there that you need to move, that you don't want them to get old. So wrap those up pretty. And then that's a little bit more of a temptation for them. So anyway, all right. Thank you very much, Jody, for doing that. And I had not seen that sheet before, and that's really helpful because I like how it shows you where it is on most of the products. That's super helpful.
It is in the library, and I can't
Probably
remember.
there's probably isn't there a product knowledge or product coding?
Yeah, I used it in the search bar in the search bar. I put code.
Okay.
And it pulled up everything that had codes on it, and that was there. So
Okay, that's good. I hadn't seen that. I like the visual. I've only seen the sheet without the pictures of the product, so that's really helpful. So thank you. Okay. Well, tonight, since we're on the fourth Tuesday of the month, what we typically talk about on the fourth Tuesday of the month is either I do social media or I do sharing the opportunity. And last month we did social media. So I thought this month we would talk about sharing the opportunity. And I really think this is kind of timely for us as a unit because it's not an area that we're doing just a whole lot with, including me. I think we can kind of get just kind of settled on where we're at. And maybe we're not working full circle every time we're around people, or sometimes we've gotten, I know for me, I'm speaking for me, but sometimes I've gotten a little bit like, well, they're not going to do anything, or, they're not really interested in selling. Well, I don't know that if I haven't asked them, right? So you never know. So what we're going to talk about tonight is intentional team building, some intentional team building tips. And I've been following this director, never have met her in person, don't even know what group she's in. We're in Sapphire, which I'm not sure what you're in, Sharon. There's different divisions in Mary Kay. There's Sapphire division, Emerald division, and Diamond division now. And so that just determines on where, if you go to seminar, which time you go, basically. And there's certain national sales directors that are associated with that. So do you even know what you are?
No.
Okay.
I was actually asking, like, what is the difference between Safari or the Diamond, the Esmeralda, things
And
like
really what it is, they've just divided us up into different groups, and they just redid it. They just redid it because we were all Ruby forever, and they got rid of Ruby altogether. And so they basically just divide us up kind of evenly so that when we have seminar in the summer, like only Sapphire go at one time, and then only Diamond.
Is that depends of the sales or depend of the years?
It kind of just depends on how many consultants fall within that. It's just a way to divide up so that, because they don't have room for all of us to go to seminar at one time. And so they divided up national sales directors, and then they divided up everybody else. We're all in the Mary Kay national area. We do not have a national sales director. And I'm not sure if you do or not, because I didn't ask
We
your
do
director.
have,
You
in
do?
Maryland, they do have a national one.
Okay. Do you know who it is?
What's her name?
No, it's all right. You can tell me
Forgot.
later. But I might be able to, you can look and see, like, if you log on to Mary Kay in Touch. I don't know if you played very much in there, but if you log on.
Yeah, I was doing that today.
Yeah, you can look at what they call at a glance under business tools, and it'll tell you. It'll tell you who your director is, who your national is, and what division you're in. So it'll tell you that. So anyway, I don't know, this girl, I've just kind of been following her, and I like her, and she has her own YouTube channel. And so I've watched her training on intentional team building tips, and actually it really hit home for me. So I wanted to share it with y'all because I think it's an area that as our unit, I know can grow. One of the things that she said that I have never I mean, I know this, but I hadn't thought through it like this because we always talk about how people recruit usually close to the product. You know, we want people on product first, that our goal is to sell, you know, Mary Kay. And that Mary Kay has always said nothing happens until someone sells something. So that is all still true. Our goal is to sell product. You do not have to recruit. However, she made me kind of have a different thought about it that I've thought before, but you know, I kind of get settled in my ways again and I kind of go backwards. So she said, when you look at some of the other direct selling companies out there, they started with a product and then they came up with whatever their marketing plan is. But Mary Kay, if you read Mary Kay's biography, she created her opportunity. She created what she wanted the business plan to look like. Then she said, which product will go with this business plan? So when you look at it that way, Mary Kay was important to her to share it, to share the opportunity, because it was about the selling the product, but she created the opportunity first. And that's why Mary Kay has been around for so long and we are doing so well. So it is kind of our job to share the opportunity, not to make up anyone else's mind, you know, that they don't want to sell Mary Kay. And I have to admit, when I first started Mary Kay 26 years ago, some of you I may have told this to, but I was like, well, I really don't want to recruit people. So I chose not to work full circle from the beginning, which means offering them the product, telling them about the, you know, setting them up for a second opportunity to try the product, and sharing the opportunity. I kind of just didn't do it because I didn't want to. And then when I decided, oh, I think I want more from this business, I had to kind of retrain myself because I purposely wasn't doing all of that. And so I think sometimes we kind of get into that spot. So she said too, everyone is selling something and it's not icky. You know, we're not out there trying to convince people. Only salespeople, and the only salespeople you hear about when you start hearing about, oh, they're a salesperson, it's usually something negative about them, right? But if you're actually really good at being a salesperson, they don't say, oh, she's a good salesperson. They say she's a good listener. They say she gets me. You know, like if you have a customer that you're selling to and they love how you take care of them, they love how you can tell them about the products, they love how you deliver on time and offer them good customer service, they love how you offer them different things through the year. They don't say, oh, she's a good salesperson. They may say, oh, she's a good Mary Kay consultant, or I love how she knows what foundation color I use, or I love how she listens to what my needs are and then she finds the products that are best for me. You know, that's a positive experience for them. So you kind of see the difference between someone, you know, when you think salesperson, you're thinking negative, but that's not what we're trying to portray. It said to think of the product coming alive through us when we're talking to people about the product. And I think that a lot of us do that. So same thing needs to happen when we're talking about the opportunity. It needs to come alive to that person. And so she said, you know, we have a tendency and we have a unit of 150 something people, and we have a lot of them that are personal use. And that is okay to have some people that are personal use, but she said we have a tendency, because we just want a new team member. We're just like, well, I want to be a red, or I want to be a director, or I want to get a new team member. We have a tendency to just offer them the lower amount. We have a tendency to say, you can get your product at a discount. You can get your product 50% off. That's what we lead with too many times. I'm not saying they're all doing that, but lead with that a lot. And she said, what if that person had a different thought, really? They just didn't tell you. You know, maybe they really want something more, and you've just lowered the bar for them because you didn't at least tell them about what the opportunity could be for them. Now, if they choose to be personal use, that's fine. But we attract the people at the level that we're talking to. So if we always just say, you can get your product half off, that's what we're going to get. All the people that just want their product half off. But if we give them the information on the whole deal, you never know who is actually interested. Now, if they choose to not work it like that, that's okay. But I think we just need to think about how we're talking to people. And so we need to think big and not small. Because we have seen and we know personally that our situations can change from Mary Kay. Financially, spiritually, leadership wise, friendship wise, we all know that, but are we sharing that? Are we truly sharing that? So one of the things she said to do, and I decided I'm going back to the basics, even for myself, for sharing the opportunity, is write out the qualities of who you're looking for that you personally want to add to your team. And it may not be the same for me as it is for you. But personally write out what are the qualities of the people I'm looking for that I want to add to my team, and keep it in your focus folder, whatever you keep together for all of your Mary Kay work. Keep that list so that's fresh in your mind. Who am I looking for? It could be a certain age group. It could be just the type of person. It could be lots of things. I mean, think through that a little bit. What type of person do I want on my team? And then, I've done, when I've been in front of people, I've shared the opportunity in lots of different ways over the years. Most recently, I mostly have done, let me do 5 facts about Mary Kay. And I just share some things pretty fast, that I want them to know about Mary Kay. But one of the things she was doing that I thought was really cute, and I thought, it's been a while since I've done a visual when I've shared the opportunity in front of people, and I liked her visual, and so I'm going to get it together, but I didn't. But she literally has just a little Mary Kay bag. It was one of those limited edition bags that we had a while back that was just a little pink bag. And she just had things in it. And if she's in front of people, she actually lets them touch the bag and lets them pull things out of the bag that are sitting at the table. But you could also, if we were doing it here on the screen, you could pull things out and talk about them. So she has like a little Hot Wheels car. Like, it's just a little Hot Wheels car. She has that little car in there. She has like a little Lego ladder so she can talk about the career path. She has a mirror that she uses to talk about the confidence that you build when you're in Mary Kay. She has little fake Monopoly money to talk about that you can make money. She has a rubber band to talk about flexibility. And then I have one of those, because I've won Mary Kay diamond rings. I've got one of those little, little thrones that they put the little ring in. She has that in there just to talk about the fact that she can earn jewelry. A couple of years ago, we kind of got away from sharing all that information because, in all the research that Mary Kay did, they said people aren't about diamond rings so much now. They just need practical, they just need money. So they don't care about the diamond ring. They just want to be able to make money. But I feel like you can share all of those things because you never know what will float someone's boat. I mean, if someone talked to me about the diamond rings when I started, that probably wouldn't be the main reason I'd start Mary Kay. But it's kind of fun. I mean, I'm not going to go buy myself a diamond ring, so it's been kind of fun to get the diamond ring. So, but you could put other things in there, like think through it yourself and think, what is it that I love about Mary Kay? What's been great for me? And put something in that bag that represents that so that you can talk about it. But I liked thinking about having a visual again because it's been a while since I've done it like that. We've done Mrs. Cab in the past. We've done pink, the words pink, and then we've said different things about the opportunity. You could do it however you wanted, but I kind of liked that thought process. And then the other thing she talked about is that we are not, remember when I said before, we're not convincing people to sign up? That's not what we're trying to do. We are educating them and we're persuading them. So and I think a lot of what I do, and probably this is what I've taught people to do, is I teach a lot of education and I educate people on Mary Kay a whole lot. But then do I go to the very next step and say, what do you think about that? What is your interest level in that? What do you, or do I hope that they're just going to go, wow, I loved everything you just told me about that. How do I sign up? So there's more than just educating. And I think I tend to go education route. So that's my thing. So she said to remember that the word persuade means means through to completion, and swayed is advising. So you're bringing them to completion regarding the opportunity. You're not dragging them, you're not pushing them, you're not convincing them, you're just bringing them to completion. So what does that look like? So she drew on a piece of paper 2 roads. I don't think you guys can see that very good, but I drew 2, like this looks like 2 highways. So this side is the education highway. And it's pretty smooth. It's like a smooth road. Like we can just talk about the opportunity. And this is the persuasion highway. And it's kind of bumpy. So these are my bumps on my persuasion highway. This is my smooth education highway. So she says that we need to have kind of a road connecting all of these, so that we are both educating, but also bringing them to completion on what the opportunity is. And so what do you think the number one thing to do in bringing someone to completion regarding the Mary Kay opportunity is?
Repeat that.
What do you think the number one thing you would do if you're educating someone and you're also persuading them or bringing them to completion and possibly becoming a consultant? What would be the number one thing you would need to do?
Ask questions.
Yes.
I was
Yes.
gonna say that too.
Yes, ask questions. So that, a lot of times you might do an interest scale. You might share, like say you had that little bag and you had your car and your ladder and you're sharing about the Mary Kay opportunity. You might, if they're sitting down in front of you and having a facial, you might say, would you give me a number between 1 and 5 on what your interest level is? We usually say in wanting to know more about the opportunity. But you could say even, doing, having a side hustle or doing a business or whatever. You could say whatever. So you could ask them for an interest scale. And then once they do that, ask them, tell me specifically, what does that mean? When you said 3, what does that mean? Ask them, what are they thinking on that? And look for their body language too, because she said someone may say, oh yeah, diamond rings are cool and free cars and all that, but I really like to travel and I need to earn $500 to travel. Like, you can tell right then that what their interest level is. Like they like to travel and they want extra money so that they can travel. So then you've heard that, and so then you ask more questions about that. And you could say, would you be open to discussing a little bit more about that? If I could show you how to make $500 extra a month that you could put away for traveling, would you be open to discussing that? Another question, like really asking questions. And you guys may be better at this than me, but I just feel like of late, I haven't taken the time to really ask enough people these questions when they're sitting in front of me. And she said sometimes we're not able to bring people to completion because we care so much about the result. We care so much about whether they're going to say no, yes, or no, that then we don't ask enough questions because we're so caught up in whether they're going to say yes or no. So what I think we should do is we should start practicing this more. Because I don't know what you guys feel like, but I feel like we're not asking asking enough. We're not sharing enough. Not because we're just all about, we want to sign up everybody, but just that's part of our job. And who knows who's out there that needs this opportunity, and we have it in our head, well, I don't want to pressure her. Well, the last person I signed up didn't do anything. It's that happens. Like, that stuff goes through our head. So I think we should just practice at getting good at this. I feel like I need to restart again at getting good, because honestly, in my whole 26 years of being in Mary Kay, sharing the opportunity is not my best skill. It personally isn't. Like, I've never been in the court of recruiting. I've never, I'm a slow and steady, and I do ask questions and stuff, but I take way too long. I could do better at this. So I feel like she goes, we have to be willing to practice enough and we might suck at it at first. Or if we haven't done it in a while, we may not be great at it at first because we haven't done it in a while. It's like not part of our routine. So going in with the mindset too, that we're just wanting to practice and letting go of the result. If they truly don't want to sell, then we truly want them as a customer, and that is okay. And if they say no, that's okay. We're not about pushing them, convincing them, but we just need to make sure we're asking enough questions that we truly understand where they are and not stopping too soon, not just assuming they're saying no. And we know from learning about the layering sheet, and Sharon, the layering sheet is just a sheet where we track like people that we meet, and then we write like, okay, they've tried the product. They've been to an event. We've talked to them about the product. Like they need so many layers of Mary Kay before they're like, oh, okay. Which Sharon kind of got layered quickly and signed up. She went to an event, and then someone talked to her about it, and then her mom signed up, and then she's like, okay, I'll sign
Well,
up.
not really.
Yeah.
It's been a long road.
Okay, so she's been layered a long road. But she said to me today, I think that I'm supposed to be doing Mary Kay.
Yeah.
But it keeps getting put in front of me. So she kept
Yeah.
getting layered.
Because I heard Mary Kay when I was 18, so like 18 years ago.
Yeah.
And now that you're saying like they didn't push anything about like signing people or anything. They were just doing like the presentation, selling products, like, like raffles and things like that. But they never say anything. Hey, you want to join the group
Yeah.
or anything like that?
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe if they say something when I was 18, I'll probably be like, oh yeah, okay, let me do this.
Yeah, I think we are presenting education when
Mm.
people are in front of us, but we're not going to the next step of considering that we might need to ask more questions. And I think, we are looking for I did say write down characteristics of people you're looking for. Sometimes those people are the scariest people to us. And so those are the people we don't ask the questions to because they're a little more scary to us. But I think we need to practice with that because you just never know. And again, it goes back to, we're kind of getting them to the door. Like she said, she heard it, but then we're just hoping they're going to turn around and say, hey, I want to do this, instead of having to say, can I ask you some more questions? Tell me things, that are important to you in your life, learning about that person. And then flat out asking them, if you are talking to them about it, just asking, what are you thinking about this? Tell me where you're at this point. Like, what are you thinking? And I think that for us as a unit, our unit, I think we need to be a little more bold in this area and just try. Just try and practice a little bit more. And that includes me for sure. And then, really just trying to bring people to completion. So either they are going to sign up and maybe they're not. Well, then I've always found, and I believe this to be true, that if you share more information with people, sometimes they don't choose to be a consultant, but sometimes they're a much better customer because they understand you have goals and they understand a little bit more about the company. And so that's exciting to them. So they want to purchase products from a company that's like that. So I just think sometimes we've been around so long, we forget to tell people all the great things. And you need to ask yourself, what do you believe about this opportunity? Because if you are at the point where you're kind of like, well, I sort of believe it, because maybe we've been in a while and we've been hurt or somebody said no or whatever, we're only going to bring people to here if we're only here on our belief, right? So we need to believe it all the way. And so write down for yourself, what do you truly believe about what this opportunity can do? What has it done for you? And what can it do for other people? And we've seen it when we go to events, we've seen huge changes in people. We know that it can change people's lives. So you need to believe it's great in whatever form that is, so that you can bring people to that. And then she brought up this poem, which I usually share this poem when I do new consultant training. And it's been a super long time since I read it, but it helps me always remember that sharing the opportunity is not about me. Sharing the opportunity is about the other person. So this is the poem, Maybe She Needs Me. It had been a long day and I was finishing a task. As I hurried past her, that little voice said, ask. Ugh, not today, I told myself. I'm tired and it shows. Besides, I could look foolish and it's likely she'll say no. While drifting off to sleep that night, I saw her face again. I wondered what her life was like, her dreams, her needs, her pain. What if she'd been praying for a friendly word or smile, the chance to meet somebody that would go that extra mile? What if she'd been looking for a break, an open door? Was this the opportunity that she'd been praying for? I saw the cars she would not drive, the rings she would not wear, because I would not risk myself to stop to ask to share. So what if what I offered her was not her cup of tea? That was a choice for her to make. How selfish could I be? When all my dreams are realized, I don't want to feel regret for the lives I didn't touch and change, the no's I didn't get. Oh, let me live the true go give and let my mission be not do I need her, but maybe she needs me. So we know that in our heart, but sometimes we kind of get stuck. We get stuck on how we feel about it, or how we don't want to get a no, or how we don't want to be, So I think it's a matter of just taking time to get to know people, get to know our customers better. And so one of the things I was thinking about doing is, a while back, we created a little sheet that we were all tracking when we got a new customer. And that was kind of exciting to do it collectively, to see how many people we were getting. So I thought, I haven't created it yet, but I thought about creating a little flyer where we just are tracking just sharing, not even whether the person signs up or not. Just how many times are we really sharing the opportunity? And if y'all remember, and I don't know, Sharon, your director may have something specific she does for this, so you can ask her. But I know in our unit, if you go look at our Facebook page under featured, there are a couple of ways. I mean, you can literally just sit down and talk to someone. You guys don't have to have me, but if you want to have me a part of that conversation with that person, then we can do that. We can actually have a 3-way call, or we can do a Zoom. There's also the Google Doc that you can send them, which I have under featured on our Facebook page. And it gives them 3 videos they can watch, and then they can answer questions on that Google Doc. And then if they are more interested, even at that point, you can include me in there if you want to. And then there's also this video here that's just by itself that Heather did a while back. It's a little longer video. It's about 18 minutes, but it talks to women in 5 different areas of life, like different age groups. So depending on where you are in your age group. So those are things that we definitely can do. But it's okay if you're like, I just want to be bold and I want to share myself. I want to practice. So I think that brings up the question too, is do we have bookings on our books so that we are in front of people? Because we need to be able to be in front of people and facialing them or talking to them. So that's one way we're going to share. The other way is if you already have a customer base, you may just take a gander at your customer base again and say, how many of these people have I not shared the opportunity with at all? Or how many of them has it been a really long time? And, I just want to share more information with them. And it could be simply, I just need to have a sit down with you for 10 minutes, sort of like the What Women Want survey that we've done in the past. You could do it like that. Or you could just sit down and say, I'm just practicing because we're practicing sharing more about the opportunity. And so will you let me practice and then just see what happens when you talk to that person and ask them questions. So there's all different ways you can do it, but it's a matter of being in front of people mainly. So, okay. It's 6:45, so let me open it up. What are y'all's thoughts on this? Questions? What do you think?
Well, the way you laid it out tonight gives me renewed enthusiasm to go out and think about, because just right within this little short training session, I've already got a list of 6 people.
Okay.
Knowing what I want to say and go do what you're asking. I do like the idea of, as a unit, it's almost like not a challenge, but
Yeah.
again, something new you want to track. So like engaging us all, and having that tracking, I think is helpful to get us participating and doing some things.
Mm-hmm.
So
It holds me accountable too, because if I'm asking y'all to do it, then my name better be on there for doing it too. So I think I'll have my assistant create a little sheet that we can track over like November, December, January and see how it goes. And see what happens when if we had 50 shares collectively, as a group, and that's more than just, let me tell you about it and let them walk out the door. That's, let me tell you about it and then let me ask you what you think about this. What are your thoughts? What's on the scale from 1 to 10? Where would you be in considering more information about this opportunity or starting a business, or having it be a little bit more of a bold ask than just, let me share this video with you. Good luck. If they do watch the video and I do get a Google Doc back on it, we want to have a follow-up at least and say, okay, I saw this is what you said and this, and if they are like, I truly do not want to sell this, what else could they do for you? Maybe they could refer people to you. Maybe they could come have a facial and bring a friend. Like they could, what's the next best thing that they can do for you? So, and a lot of times if they've already listened to the opportunity and they kind of know what your goals are, they're excited for you. They're kind of excited to do a party or have friends come over. They're like, okay, I'm not going to sell it, but I'm going to help you meet people. And then she could get some free product from you for helping. So these are things we know. I just think we've kind of gotten away from it. And I collectively as a unit, it's just a reminder that for us not to get so stuck in our heads about it, but just to share it. Any other thoughts?
For me, my goal for this month coming up,
Yeah.
I said I'm gonna do 30 facials and
Yay!
I'm gonna try to sign up 8 people for the month.
Wow, that is an awesome goal.
I put that in my notes, so that way I just keep looking at it and be like, yeah, I gotta do this. I had to like be, like they say, okay, you can do this as, your own schedule and everything, but also you have to be constant on it so you can actually make your goals.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yay. That's a very good goal. Yeah. So if she can do that, then collectively as a unit, we can focus on that too. And I think that, I think we feel better about our own business sometimes when we're sharing it with other people and then they get excited. And so I think that's good. So yay, that's a great goal, Sharon. We're excited for you. Okay. Anybody else have any thoughts? Okay. Well, all right. That's all I had for this evening. Next week we'll be back on, and I should have Jody put in the comments, Sharon, you can do it. We're excited for you. Um, I think the company will have some more information out, hopefully, on November 1st about some of the changes to the website and that kind of stuff. So next Tuesday, I will be talking about that. Plus, Jody and I are headed to Granbury, Texas on Friday for a Mary Kay retreat. And we're going to be with 3 national sales directors and like 40 other directors. And I only know like 3 of them. So this is going to be like a whole new thing for us. Like we'll see what we think. But it's on Lake Granbury, so it looks like it's kind of pretty and everything. So we have to leave at 5 in the morning Friday for me to be there on time for the director meeting. So Jody's gonna drive us there, and then she's gonna drive back on Sunday. It lasts till 11:30 on Sunday, and then she's gonna drive back Sunday, and my daughter's gonna come pick me up, and I get to spend an extra day in Dallas with Emily, my daughter, and then I'm flying home Monday evening. So. But I'll get all the stuff from the company on Saturday. So we'll talk about that next Tuesday, and that's what we'll see what all, and I will show you next Tuesday the new products that are coming out for winter in November as well. So we'll do that next Tuesday for sure. Any other questions, comments, or anything?
Thank you for having me today.
You're welcome. We're so glad that you're here. And so hopefully we'll get to meet in person too
Yes.
sometime. So that's great. Well, and I hope it was helpful to you.
It was a lot. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. So, all righty. Well, thank you all for being on and for your time. And thanks, Jody, for doing product knowledge. And before I forget, Alexandra, do you want to do product knowledge next week?
Sure.
Okay. And I keep forgetting like what all we've done, but you can think about it and see what you want to do.
Okay.
But I'll put you down for that for next Tuesday, and then we'll talk about some new, there's not a ton, but there are some new products coming out in November, so we'll talk about those and the company stuff. And you guys may receive emails from the company. If you have a current website, you'll probably receive emails from the company about the new thing that they're going to do in December. So Sharon, our current websites are going to move to a different format in December. So have you signed up for
Okay,
your
so
website?
the one, yeah, so the one
Okay.
that I made my order is gonna be different.
No, that's different. This is the website that like your customers would shop with you.
Oh yeah, no, I
Yeah.
haven't created that yet.
Okay, yeah. I think probably the best thing to do is to go ahead and create it, and then
Okay.
then it's going to change in December, but they're going to give us the access to create the new one. It's going to be a separate thing, so it'll be okay to have one, and then we're going to get a new one.
Okay.
Yeah, so like Jody said, InTouch is kind of just for consultants. It's just kind of our back office. That's where we order. That's where we get our product
Oh,
knowledge.
okay.
And personal websites is where your customers actually shop with you.
Okay.
So anyway, all right. Anything else? All right. Thank y'all for being on and for listening and for participating. And I hope y'all have a great week. And Jody and I hopefully will come back with some great information, kind of how Dawn did when she went to retreat. She got a lot of great information. So, all right. Y'all have a great evening.
Bye.
Bye.